welcome into the box score. Terry Collins along with Justin Mauldin, and Nick Noakes always doing a great job for us behind the camera. And Justin, it's been a while. I mean, I know we had interviews last week with 4 intriguing individuals that, are kind of legendary in their own communities. But we're going to look back now at the Christmas Classic that DTC did. I know that you and Nick loved basketball so much that you sat in the gym about 12 hours on that Friday.
Listen, it was a long day. It was a fun day. I'll tell you something. I really enjoyed being there, being in Gordonsville for a Christmas tournament. I know that was something new and unique to them, and luckily we had the privilege that we were able to partner with them and help them out with it and be the sponsor of that tournament. And we were able to highlight the kids and listen, give coverage to some of those teams that I had never seen play before. Right. They were new to me, but also highlighted our local teams as well.
When you look back, and we're going to look at the girls' scores from the Friday of that DTC Christmas Classic held over at Gordonsville High School. And when you look at those scores, you got Watertown over Lead. You got Nashville Christian over Green Hill. That was a great ball game where Nashville Christian was down double digits and came back and won. Josh Agee and myself was able to cover that game, and then the championship game a little bit skewed. East Hickman was down to 6 players. They were in the championship game and decided to go on home. Didn't feel like they had enough players, and then Monterey was in the losers bracket, and they came to play Cumberland County. Of course, Cumberland County a dominating win in that championship game. And Jake Dillard, not the hardest. The hard decision for him, I'm sure he wanted to play another game. He was unable, to make it work out, so his team set out. But, kudos to Jake and Greg both on a tournament that I really enjoyed.
Listen, it was well run. The times that we were there, they did a great job with it. The hardest part on a tournament like that is staying on time, and they stayed on top of it, and they rolled with it. I know game 1 of the tournament went to overtime, so I know there were questions probably right off the bat of how well is this going to stay on track, but they managed to keep it on track throughout the entire time and did a fabulous job.
Let's go ahead and look at the boys' scores from the tournament. Red Bowling Springs and Lakeland Prep. Red Bowling Springs about 55, 60 points in that second half. Gets a big win over the team out of Memphis. Nashville Christian narrowly beats Watertown after getting up several points. Cumberland County beats Gordonsville in the consolation, and Smith County doesn't treat their former alumnus Ryan Sleeper very well. Trousdale really struggled turnovers and shooting the ball, and Smith County wins its 3rd game in 3 days with a win over the Yellow Jackets to get the championship.
Listen, really impressed with the way that Smith County played, with the way that Smith County shot the ball. I know Tyler Jones absolutely lights out, especially in that 3rd quarter in the first 4 minutes, hitting 4 consecutive 3-pointers. They hit nothing but net, too. He that left no doubt in that, and they played very, very, very well in that. I do want to say one thing on the girls' side. The team that probably impressed me the most was probably Lead Academy. And I know when we go back and we look at that 16 points on there, but the way that they carried themselves, the attitude that they had throughout that process, they were a team that was enjoying themselves and having fun doing it.
Let's go ahead and look at the Gordonsville girls' scores. Jake Dillard's bunch went down to Florida, enjoyed the sunshine. Went 1-2 in that, playing the different teams. Then last night they played Clark Range, went to Clark Range in a girls-only game and lost 72-38. They were down 11 after the first quarter, and they're sitting there at 3-13 now. Let's go ahead and look at the girls' standings. Pickett County sitting there on top at 11-2. Clark Range 11-7. Clay County 10-5. Got Red Bowling Springs and Gordonsville. Gordonsville's got to try to fight. They've got district play starting, Justin, to try to get in that top 4.
Well, and the thing is, if they can get in that top 4, and if they can make the region tournament, they'll probably win the first round of that region if they can manage to get through with the way that they're set up. But unfortunately, what we see with Upper Cumberland basketball on the girls' side is we see what's probably going to be 3 top 10 teams by the end of the season that they're matched up with. So they'll be battle tested. Let's
go ahead and look at Greg Bibb's Tigers squad. They have had quite a few injuries, concussions, different things. Gordonsville, the second day, in fact, they did not play Jay Foster and and Brody Sykes didn't play much in their final game. But, and then last night, of course, they did not play at all. And but due to sickness, they were going to reschedule that game for, I believe it was January 13th at 6 o'clock, where they go to Clark Range. So let's go ahead and look at the standings. Pickett County sitting there at 10-4, Gordonsville 8-6, Red Bowling 7-9. Of course, Red Bowling gets a big win over Clay County. I see a lot of parity right there, Justin. I've seen all these teams play. I feel like that, it's not just a one-man race.
Yeah, and those records can be deceiving because a lot of those losses from those teams are to higher quality and higher classification schools. If they were every single one of those games was to be single A, I think those records would be much improved. And you're correct. I think these are going to be some very close competitive ball games throughout the season.
I think Clark Range boys, under the guidance of Coach Logan, who came from Pickett County, knows what the culture is for winning basketball. I look for Clark Range to knock off some people, although they've already, started 4-9. Let's go ahead and look at the Cannon County girls score. Ashley Campbell-Patrick's team getting a couple of big wins in the Kerry Malone Power Games. They win over Riverdale, they win over Hillsborough, and then they get the win over Cascade. Of course, that is a district game for them. They're off to a great start, Justin, at 13-4. And a lot of people feel that Cannon County girls have got what it takes to get to the Murfreesboro.
Listen, Coach Ashley Patrick has got them playing phenomenal. Again, they're a well-balanced team, and that's the thing. When we talk about some of these teams, they're not a team that has a player that just absolutely stands out and is going to knock down 20 a night. But when you look at their post-game scores, their leading scorer is different just about every night because they can distribute the ball and they can depend on so many people to bring it each night. And that's going to be a benefit in them as they push through the rest of the season. Let's
go ahead and look at the girls standings in the district. You've got Cannon and Grundy sitting there on top. Everybody else sub 500. I think at least, Justin, from what I can tell, those are the two teams to beat out of District 9AA.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any doubt. I've looked at, a little bit of the schedule for some of those others, and, I think that there's going to be a big difference between the top two and the rest of the field.
Definitely is. Let's go ahead and look at Coach Jared Nave and his Lion squad getting a big win over Lebanon. Of course, Lebanon, a 4A school, and then they lose to Friendship in a offensive game, 93-66. I'm sure Coach Nave not pleased with the fact that his team gave up, that many points because they really are defensive driven. They're sitting there at 11-6. They got a big district win over Cascade, 71-48. Another team, as we look at the standings for that Grundy County and Cannon, no doubt probably the top two teams in boys in District 9AA, although Grundy's schedule strength is not as strong as Cannon County's.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with some of the teams that Grundy County has played, so I can't speak too much to how well that record reflects the quality of play that they'll put there. We're entering into district play. They're 1-0. Both these teams are 1-0, so they're off to a great start in this district. I'm interested to see as we see a few more of these teams, kind of what this district does have to offer, since it's pretty unknown to me.
Let's check out other area schools when we return to the box score, sponsored to you by Carthage Safeway.
Why don't you take that out?
Okay.
Yep.
We'll check out our other schools when we return to the box score, sponsored to you by Carthage Safeway.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Neighbors help each other. It's how community works. And it's how we do business at DTC. You can count on us for internet, TV, and phone, backed by local support.
For a limited time, get 1 month free when you add or upgrade your internet package. Enjoy internet speed that can keep up with all you do.
DTC. We're working hard to be a good neighbor.
There are some services that you don't need every single day, but when you do, you need them fast. That's the kind of service that Roto-Rooter provides. Owned by the Watson family, Roto-Rooter is your next licensed trusted plumber with quick and dependable plumbing and drain service for those in DeKalb, Smith, and White counties. They can do it all and on your schedule. So go ahead and call the plumbing and drain experts of Roto-Rooter today. 615-215-7686.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old barred trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Welcome back to the Box Score. Justin Mauldin along with Terry Collins. And Justin, I know that everybody's off schedule right now, us included, as far as, you know, the being in a routine. I know coaches love routines, and they're going to get that once these schools start back every day. Their practice is the same every day. You know, and I know myself, I find myself looking at my phone to see, hey, what day is it? Because when you get in Christmas and the different tournaments and playing at different times, it's just a different beast.
Yeah, you know, I enjoy Santa Claus coming, and my kids do too, but it does throw everything off in that everyday normal routine. And listen, stores aren't open. Yeah, you can't just go out and get whatever you want. Do your normal thing. And these kids, you know, through the holiday time, and, you know, we'll talk with some of these coaches a little bit, and they'll talk a little bit about that. But these kids are going to get back in these hallways of these schools, and I know that'll be a big help to these coaches getting them back in rhythm. And
kids are praying for snow, I promise you already. Let's go ahead and look at Brandy Alley and the DeKalb County girls scores. They played down in the Richland tournament, right in the northern part of Giles County. Lost a close one to Clements, Alabama, but then they rebound with 2 wins over Mount Pleasant and Columbia Academy. They improved to 9-8.
I think Coach Alley should be very proud of where they're sitting right now. I know they're just a little bit above 500. They played, it's not on there, but the week before they played York within 1 possession in the Frank shootout at White County. And then to go to the Richland Christmas Classic and to play as well as they did as they go into district play. And we'll talk a little bit about their matchup with White County a little bit later on, but I think they're right where they need to be right now.
Let's look at the 7-3A girls standings. You got White County 17-1. Their only loss was to York, where Gabby Beatty scored in the 40s. Upman sitting there at 14-2. Livingston 12-5. Cumberland County 11-3. You know, you look at DeKalb County and what they are right now, Justin, and Stone. I mean, you're looking at 4 teams once again that's probably going to be ranked in 3A when those rankings come out here in the next week.
Yes, yeah. The first poll will be out within the next week. You're going to have 4 teams probably with 20 wins in this district alone by itself. That tells you how much competition and what the quality of these teams are.
Let's go ahead and look at the DeKalb County boys. Joey Agee's team goes to the Aflac Christmas Classic in Watertown. Get a couple of wins. That last win with loss with Stewart's Creek a little bit skewed. DeKalb wasn't at full strength. They had a starter that was out, but they get their 3rd win of the year over Smith County, and then after being up double figures, hang on to beat James Lawson, a new school out of the Bellevue area. They improved to 9-8. Let's go ahead and look at the 7 AAA boys standings. You got Upman sitting there at 11-3. Justin Mauldin's alma mater. You got Livingston 11-7. Stone at 10-6. DeKalb at 8-8. White County's boys have struggled this year. Of course, we'll see them on the DTC Huff and Puck Trucking Game of the Week against DeKalb, which I think is an early big game, Justin, especially for the girls and boys. I feel like, you know, especially on the boys' side, that, you know, you're trying to nudge in that top 4.
Yeah, it's a tone setter right from the get-go. And like you said, when you got a 6-team district where every game matters, and you're trying to make sure, because if you remember last year, I think on the boys' side, the number 1 seed had 3 losses.
Right.
So every game matters in these districts, especially when there's 6 teams, and you get that 1 extra win, and that could make all the difference by the end of the season.
Let's go ahead and look at the Smith County girls scores. We're going to have Matt Ferrell on a little bit later. He'll talk about the Salmon Holiday Tournament that they played down in Slidell, Louisiana. They started out with Booker T. Washington, got a big win over them, and then played St. Bernard out of Eureka, California, which is just real close to San Diego. Had a good defensive game, won 46-38-6. In fact, St. Bernard came into that game 9-1, and then they beat the host Salmon team 66-55. Had a big lead, saw it get down to 2 or 4 points, but then turned it on late. They now are sitting at 11-6. Watertown beats Huntland and beats Centennial. Then they turn around and get the win over Boyd Christian. They are showing improvement, and we've got Jeff Keller on a little bit later. Watertown is not going to be a pushover this year, Justin. I see them having, making a run, maybe not the top spot, but at least at the 2nd or 3rd spot.
Yes, this out of the teams so far that we cover in our coverage area, this is the most improved out of the 10 teams so far that I have seen. And I have been really impressed when I have seen them in person, just the dynamic of the team and how much more comfortable they are playing with each other and relying upon each other. And, last year's team was, okay, we'll quickly pass this, we'll get a shot up, we'll get a shot from the outside, we'll be quick about this. This team's a lot more methodical and relying upon one another, and it's led them to a 10-5 record, a 4-game winning streak right now, and so they're doing very, very well.
Now we'll take a look at the District 5 AA girls standings, and when you look, Jackson County, Justin, surprising, sitting there at 12-3. Of course, York played a very tough schedule. They're 11-3. They won the Franks shootout up in Sparta. You got Smith County on a 3-game or 4-game winning streak, I should say, sitting at 11-6. Watertown very much improved. Monterey kind of the odd man out right now. They have struggled this year.
Listen, 4 teams coming into district play with double-digit wins already is very, very impressive. Did not expect to see Coach Jim Brown's Jackson County girls playing as well as they are, but I shouldn't expect that because it's Coach Jim Brown,
right.
and knowing what he can do and what he's capable of, anything is possible.
Let's go ahead and look at some boys' scores. First for the Owls, a tough tournament for them. They lose to DeKalb again for the 3rd time, lose to James Lawson, lose to Stewart's Creek. In James Lawson game, they got outscored 16-1 in the final 7 minutes and 12 seconds of the game. After going 3-0 in the DTC tournament and winning it, they go 0-3. They drop to 6-13. Let's look at the Watertown boys scores. Of course, Watertown played 3 tough opponents in their Aflac Christmas Classic, losing to Clark Range, losing to Macon, losing to Mount Juliet. But they did bounce back and get a big win over Boyd Christian, 59-34 to improve to 3-14. Let's look at the District 5 AA boys standings. When you look at Jackson County sitting there at 7-7, a lot of teams right around 500. This is a kind of wide open race, but when you look at York's schedule and what they play, Justin, you got to think, maybe they're favored to win this thing.
Yeah, York, and on the girls and the boys side, again, they've both been to the state tournament in the past season. They're looking to go toward it again. They don't shy away from competition, and again, records can be deceiving at this point, but with as close as these teams have played, we haven't seen them play one another yet. Again, we don't know exactly what may happen, and I think this district, like you said, it could be anybody's.
We'll have an interview with Smith County girls basketball coach Matt Ferrell in our next segment on the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
There are some services that you don't need every single day, but when you do, you need them fast. That's the kind of service that Roto-Rooter provides. Owned by the Watson family, Roto-Rooter is your next licensed trusted plumber with quick and dependable plumbing and drain service for those in DeKalb, Smith, and White counties. They can do it all and on your schedule. So go ahead and call the plumbing and drain experts of Roto-Rooter today. 615-215-7686.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff and Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
And welcome back to the Box Score. Terry Collins along with Justin Mauldin, our good friend Nick Notes, spinning all the buttons. We've got Matt Ferrell, the head coach for Smith County High Lady Owls. And Coach, a very fun time, I think, had by your team in New Orleans, and then to polish that off with a championship run had to be good, and get your mindset good for 2024.
Yeah, it was a really good trip. I mean, I was telling somebody the other day, I've been on a lot of basketball trips. That was as good as any that we've been on over the years. Kids all got along really well. Of course, they ate really well, and got to kind of sleep in and rest most days, and of course played some pretty decent basketball while we were down there. We didn't shoot it great, but played well enough to win. And defensively, I thought we were pretty good for the whole trip. So it's got the mindset and the tone set good for what's coming in 24. I hope.
Coach, I know a lot of times some people from the outside looking in may see these trips and say, oh, they're going on vacation, or that's just a fun trip. And I know you guys definitely had fun. But tell me, what does that do from a team building perspective? Because you're spending time together, you're in the hotel together, you're eating together. I know you guys took in a professional basketball game together. From a chemistry, from a morale, a team building perspective, how important is it not only to have the practice on the court, but to also have this off the court time together as well?
Well, the big thing for me, I really like to and try to focus on taking them somewhere at Christmas that a lot of kids won't go. So, that's a big thing for us, and we kind of search out different places, and I go to the seniors usually in the spring, and I'll say, here's a handful of places. Y'all pick where you want to go, and I'll try to find a tournament there. And so that was kind of the way it worked last year, and they were all like, hadn't been to the New Orleans area, so I was like, well, all right, I'll try to find one. And then, it's just a cool experience for them to get to go and be with each other at a place where they may or may not ever go again, and make special memories with kids that have meant a lot to them during their high school years, and especially for those juniors and seniors, just to have that memory with those people in that place. Like that was the big thing for me. And then, of course, like you said, you get to play some basketball while you're there, which is just a bonus. But our team chemistry and the culture inside our locker room is really, really good right now. So that made that trip a lot more special, just because, like I said, there was no drama. I don't know that I've ever taken 16 girls somewhere and not had a single disagreement for the entire week, and that's what happened last week. So, I think they had a special trip for that reason, and made a lot of memories with, like I said, with people they probably won't travel with, definitely won't travel to that area of the country with again. So,
Coach, when you look at the tournament, it kind of got messed up, I guess you could say, with one team dropping out. You play Booker T the first game, then you play a team from Eureka, California in your second game, and then in the championship, you played the host. Was that, I know you played on Wednesday and then were off on Thursday. I guess it gave your team some rest, but it also made them maybe sightsee a little more, or you had to juggle your schedule, I'm sure, some.
Yeah, we were actually planning on playing that Thursday morning. And like I said, they had a drop, and so we ended up getting a Thursday off, which worked out great because we had NBA tickets for that night. So we got to go downtown, and we spent a lot of time, down in the downtown New Orleans area. I mean, we went pretty much all Tuesday. We went to Cafe de Monde, start the day, and then we ended it with the NBA game and kind of hung out, mostly there in town during the meantime. So it was a good thing. I mean, obviously we'd love to play that fourth game, but it was a good thing as far as the experience of the trip went, because it gave us, instead of 4 or 5 hours downtown, it gave them a whole day where they could kind of go. And the other days, I think one thing that it done to help us was the other days that we were there playing basketball, and they were focused on what we were there to do more than like, man, I'd love to be able to go sightsee. Well, we sightseed that whole day. So, that helped, I think, set the tone for, okay, this is a business trip and we're here to take care of business, and then we're going to have some fun on the side. Whereas that gave us a day to go ahead and have some fun, and then we could really focus on the basketball after that. And I think that's, for the most part, that's what they've done.
Coach, I know at this point in the season you're entering district play this week. I know you guys are fine-tuning everything and getting everything where you want it. Is there any adjustments or anything in particular that you've had to look at throughout the season that you've had to tweak or to fix, or any improvements that you've made that are really standing out to you that you think will make a difference as you enter district play?
Well, I mean, we play 8 kids consistently, and half of those kids are freshmen. So a lot of our improvements, I guess you could say, from the course of the year has just been growing up, growing those kids up and getting them used to the high school game and trying to get them used to the structure and the discipline of what it takes to win at this level. Whereas in the past, in the middle school level especially, you got the 2 best athletes, you're gonna win 99% of the time. And in high school, there's just so many other factors to it. There's so much done in the scout department, watching film and really dissecting what people try to do and taking things away, that those kids that have always been great athletes have to be able to rely on skill level and being disciplined. And so that's been something that we really had to work on from early in the year. And I think the freshmen that we play a lot have just continued to get better and better at those things. And then, of course, we still aren't shooting free throws as good as I want to shoot them. Probably won't ever shoot them as good as I want to shoot them, but that's something that we've really made a high priority the last couple weeks, and going to continue it the next couple weeks, along with our 3-point shooting percentage, which we I harp at them a lot on that because we do shoot quite a few threes, and we didn't shoot the ball very well early in the year, and we kind of hit our stride, I guess, a little bit right before Christmas, and then we took some time off there and then come back after because we didn't shoot it very well last week. So we're back to working on that, trying to get that fine-tuned and get kind of ironed out the little pieces of the puzzle that are going to be big pieces at the end of the year, we hope.
Coach, when you look, Emory Jones plays the championship game for you. Had been out, I guess, about 4 games. She suffered the injury at DeKalb, that high ankle sprain. And from the pictures I saw, I know it was a pretty serious injury. Assess her physical well-being right now. Is she at 50%, 80%?
I'm gonna say she's in the low 80s. Her pain level's a lot better. Her swelling's better. And we probably could have played her a little bit earlier in the week, but I really wasn't looking forward to playing her on a back-to-back days and not giving her much recovery time. So we kind of talked about it. Mr. Lee Rice, our trainer, and I talked about it, and I was like, if we get to that last day, let's try to run her a little bit. That way she gets a little bit up and down before we start district play when we get back. And she handled it well. She played solid for her first game back. I mean, she had some rust and some things that she was kind of coming out of doing prior to getting hurt, but we expected that. I mean, that's, kid's been off for a month. right at it. So I would say she's probably in the 80 to 85% right now, but she's getting better and stronger every day. So I feel like by the time we get to next week, she'll be pretty close to full board, which is for her, wide open.
Coach, you mentioned some of the growing that the teams had to do because of how young some of these players are and the depth and how long your bench is. I know you've got your returning seniors and your leadership at the top, with Marissa Spivey and Julia Dickerson and Erin Enoch, and you got Chloe Collins returning as a starter as a junior. And so you've got that strength and that depth there. But you mentioned, we just talked about Emory Jones. Well, we've got Daisy Claywell and Haley Overstreet. So how is the leadership of this team taking these younger players under their wings to help guide them in this process and in the transition to growth?
Well, honestly, this group of seniors has done as good a job as any group of older kids that I've been around at, not only taking them in and trying to grow them as far as what we're doing as a team, but taking them in and trying to grow them as people. They're very close in the locker room. Those seniors, even the seniors and the freshmen, have very close bonds with each other, and it's made a real difference in our team already, just in how Erin, JP, Marissa, and Sarah have all taken those freshmen in and this is what we do here and this is why we do it. And it's not just this is what I'm telling you to do and I'm older and you're going to do this. They give them, early on in the year, they really tried to lay out the framework for why we do the things that we do on the floor and in the locker room. And just from a leadership standpoint, I could not have asked for that group of seniors to have been more influential in all the right ways for that group of freshmen. And I really feel like it comes down to something that we talk about all the time, which is leaving it better than you found it, and I've for the last 2 years preached a lot at them, and I'm sure they probably are tired of getting preached at sometimes, but that's one of the things that we talk about quite often is, you want to leave the program to where you're proud of it when you come back and watch games a year, 2, 3, 5 years from now. And so I think those seniors have really taken that into account in how they've dealt with the freshmen. And they want that freshman group to be a whole lot better in their 4 years than the senior group has been in their 4. And I feel like that's something that says a lot about the character of that older group and says a lot about how special our locker room can be.
Coach, I want to touch on a couple of players that, of course, Sarah Wilmore is hurt and may not be back, till the end of January. But I feel like Carly Ramsey, the transfer from Macon County, just their attitude, Coach, and how they're into the game and trying to instruct these younger players, I feel like is a big key. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, they're huge assets. Huge assets to have at practice. On game, of course, you see them in games. They're fired up. They're motivating their teammates. They're celebrating teammates' successes. And for Sarah, of course, being hurt almost all year, and then Carly, with the kind of the ordeal that she's been through, they've got. Each of them have their reasons why they could be a little salty about certain things and how things have went, and they've actually been exactly the opposite of that. They've been exceptional leaders on our team, just in how they interact with kids at practice, how they interact with the younger kids in the locker room, and how they, like I said, how they celebrate their successes. That says a tremendous amount, I think, about both of those kids' character. And honestly, the reason that our team is wired the way it is wired is because we have 16 kids on our team, and all 16 of them have that exact same mindset. Like, we're celebrating each other's success. We're, I've clipped so many times this year and ones that made threes, and I'll clip it and I'll go back and I'll just zoom in on the bench, and I'm like, y'all, this bench energy right here, this is what we're talking about. Like, this is championship DNA right here, and how these kids interact with each other. They're on the bench. They're not sitting there pouting because they're not getting to play. They're actively involved in the game. I couldn't say enough about what those two kids have done, just like I said, from a leadership standpoint, and helping guide those young kids and get them to where we all want them to be.
Well, Coach Matt Ferrell, we appreciate you visiting with us. I know the district season getting ready to start off for you on Friday night, as you've got Monterey coming to town, then you've got Watertown, and it's full board district play, and best of luck to you and the Lady Owls.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
Okay, Coach Matt Ferrell's been our guest. We'll have Coach Jeff Keller of the Watertown Lady Purple Tigers when we return to the box score, presented to you by Carthage Safeway.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
What is your emergency?
I think I'm being robbed.
Sir?
These big home security guys want way too much money from me.
Let's connect you to a local company right away.
It's a crime what big national companies charge for home security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation.
Help is on the way, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Switch now and save. Call or visit DTC Security online today.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Here with head coach Jeff Keller of the Watertown Lady Purple Tigers. And Coach, I know we're starting the new year, starting district play. Your team has seen some successes in the first 2023 portion of the schedule. Do you feel like you're ready to go and tackle this district race?
Yeah, I mean, it's we know obviously our hands will be full with certainly some of the teams that will be playing, but it's really the first part of the year. You're just trying to make sure that you are, getting your players ready for any type of situation that they may face. You're trying to figure out who can do what for you, who can, who can play in your rotation, and usually you're trying to get all those things figured out right up until district play.
Coach, what's the biggest difference between last year's team and this year's team that you see? I know you guys have some more size, you've got better ball handling, you got more flexibility with your team, but from the coaching standpoint, what do you think is the biggest difference and improvement that you've seen this year?
That's a good question. I would say I would say that I feel like we certainly established an identity defensively. I feel like we can put a lot of pressure on the ball, and that certainly has helped where our guards can control the ball better than they have in the past. I think that's one thing. I think the second thing is on the offensive end, I think we started to establish more of a inside-outside instead of being just primarily relying on the perimeter play. So I think those two things would probably be the biggest upgrades that we've seen this year.
Coach, I know a year ago there were times that you really struggled offensively. You always were kind of locked in defensively, but it seems like this year you're not having as many runs. You're having players that are stepping up and scoring for you and assuming that responsibility that maybe wasn't counted on or relied on to score before. Do you feel like that's a pretty fair assessment?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I mean, in the past, we've had to rely on Madison King to do the bulk of our scoring, and this year that hasn't had to be the case. We've had multiple people score at different times as far as in games, which when the other team has to guard multiple people on your team, that alleviates some of the pressure that you're putting on yourself offensively, and it just gives you more options of things to do. And I think that's one of the things. I think some of it is just the fact that, some of these players had experience last year at the varsity level and they've grown. And I think some have, during just the course of this year, have grown as well and have grown accustomed to varsity play. So I think a combination of all those things has certainly helped us.
Thing that I've seen in the couple times that I've watched you guys play this year that's really impressed me is how unselfish I feel this team is. This team will distribute the ball well, whether it's inside or outside, like you said. I know, last year there was a lot of 4 outs and running 5 out at a time. And, this year there's a different dynamic in the way that this team plays together. How important is it for the team to be together and to play as a single unit? Like you said, there's not just one player that you're having to rely on game in and game out, but you have got a team mentality and a team dynamic this season. And so how's that paid off for you?
Oh, it's been a tremendous difference. I mean, just the fact that, the fact that they understand that we're trying to get the best shots. We're not necessarily trying to, focus on necessarily one individual to take the shot, but we're trying to move the ball to get the absolute best shot that we can. And they understand that they know that the people on the floor, they all have the ability to make that shot. And so it's the quality of shot now that's, certainly the most important thing, because there's just that belief in each other as teammates that they can get the job done.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about the district, a little bit different than last year. You've got York, you've got Westmoreland, you've got Monterey. When you look at the district, and of course you got Smith County, when you look at the district, of course it's only 5 teams. You don't have the luxury of only having 4 and automatically making it to region. But when you look at it, Coach, I feel like there's a lot of parity. And, of course, time will tell in the month of January when we get through the district race exactly how that pans out. But still, at least from what I've seen, these teams, it should be for a very interesting district race.
Well, we certainly hope so. I mean, we all know how good York is and what they, what they bring to the table. And Smith County, obviously, they had a great year last year and continue to build on that. And Jackson County's always been tough. And Monterey, we haven't faced Monterey since I've been here, but I'm sure they'll bring a great challenge too. So you just, it's one of those things where we know it doesn't matter who we play. I mean, our kids understand this, that it doesn't matter who you play, you got to be ready to play every night. And there are no off nights. You have to be ready to play. And, so it's all for us, it's all about getting better every day. And then if you're getting better every day, then, especially by the time you get to tournament play, you hope you're playing your best basketball. But it's just about improvement every day. And within all of those games, it should come down to whoever executes the best. And, that's why you can't waste a day of practice or anything. You have to be prepared every day when you step onto the floor.
I know you mentioned Madison King earlier, but I know you've got Kara McClary, you've got Macy Braley. Is there anybody that is just really improved this year, or has stood out or surprised you as you went through this season?
Well, I'd say there's probably 2 or 3 people. I mean, obviously you know about Madison and you know about Kara, but Macy has the ability to and potential to be a big-time player. There's no question about it, and she's certainly shown flashes of that, and she's just striving for consistency. I'd say as far as growth goes, I think Izzy Burns, who played our 5 and sometimes the 4 spot, she's gotten a lot better. She's one that's started to get used to the varsity level as far as the physicality and so forth. And then our freshman point guard, Molly Followell, she brings a tenacity when she's guarding the ball. Just really kind of dictates, how their defense will be played. And offensively, she's done a great job of handling the basketball. And so she she's adapted very quick to this level as well. So, all of those guys have really either grown or just got better during the course of the year.
Coach, I know you played in 2 Christmas tournaments. You played in the DTC Classic over at Gordonsville, and then you hosted the AFLAC tournament where you play on 3 consecutive days. Kind of get you used to the tournament, although the tournament is not like it used to be. You play every other day instead of every day. But I feel like in that tournament setting, you can kind of set some parameters and set some goals of what you're trying to do, which prepares you for the district tournament, which I think's at Jackson County High School in Gainesboro this year.
Right. I mean, that's the whole idea is like you want to get yourself prepared, because even like you said before, even though you don't have, it's not like it used to be where it's, one day after the other. And even though, you do know who the teams are in your district, obviously, that you're playing, it's just kind of that mindset like, okay, hey, look, we got to adjust. We got to get ready. We played this team this day. Okay, we got to turn around and get ready for so-and-so the next day. And so you just it tries to get you in that mindset of the preparation part, more mental than anything else. Just having that quick turnover, and you got to be able to make that. And so I think that's one of those things that, that you get to play those teams. I think the other thing is a lot of those teams that you play in these tournaments and stuff, they bring different styles. And when they bring different styles, I mean, you could potentially see different styles that you play in district play. So it just kind of helps you adapt to that. So you can say, okay, remember we played so-and-so team. That's just like what, York is doing or Smith County is doing. So that way it's good preparation.
Earlier today, Coach, I was talking to NCAA official, and we were talking a little bit about some of the differences between the collegiate game and the high school game. As somebody who has coached at both levels, I'm just interested, and this is on the front of my mind, what is one of the biggest differences or the biggest difference that you can think of from the competition or the quality of play or preparation or whatever it may be between those different levels of competition?
Oh, the shot clock, number one. I know there's a lot of people that push for it and like it and stuff like that, and I get it and I understand that. But if you're a team that is trying to get a high-quality shot, you're not necessarily going to get that at the collegiate level with the shot clock, because it's 30 seconds, and believe me, that 30 seconds goes quickly. And so, at the high school level, I think there's more time to get a high quality shot. I think probably the other thing is that just the physicality, because you're going to have, it doesn't matter if you're at the D1, the D2 level, or in NAI level, you could have a kid that's really good in high school, and when they get to that level, they're going to find that a lot of those other kids are just as good. And the preparation, just a kid, it's kind of like a kid coming from middle school to high school. It's an adjustment period, and the physicality, it's just different. The game's quicker, it's different. So I think those 2 or 3 things stick out to me as far as, differences that I can see.
Well, Coach Jeff Keller, we appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Best of luck to you and the Lady Purple Tigers of Watertown High School as they embark on the district slate and hopefully on to the region tournament where you'll still see some familiar teams. I guess Westmoreland, Charleston County, and the like. So best of luck.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
Okay, we've been talking with head coach Jeff Keller of the Watertown Lady Purple Tigers, and we'll have a preview of the upcoming games when we return. As we remind you, you're watching Box Score. It's brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
There are some services that you don't need every single day, but when you do, you need them fast. That's the kind of service that Roto-Rooter provides. Owned by the Watson family, Roto-Rooter is your next licensed trusted plumber with quick and dependable plumbing and drain service for those in DeKalb, Smith, and White counties. They can do it all and on your schedule. So go ahead and call the plumbing and drain experts of Roto-Rooter today. 615-215-7686.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old borrowed trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Welcome back to the Box Score. Terry Collins along with Justin Mauldin, and Nick Noakes doing a great job as always for us. We've got a couple of games coming up this week, one that I'm anxious to see as we'll travel up to Smithville to play, to see two teams play that are border rivals. They've had some great games in the past. I know last year, especially in the game at Smithville, was awfully good. White County girls sitting there at 17-1. DeKalb County, with Van Branken girls and, what they've got coming back, they're going to try to knock Michael Dodgen's White County Lady Warriors off.
The thing is, both these teams, DeKalb County was put out in the district tournament by their boys and girls of White County on the road in Sparta by both teams last year. And so it's not how they wanted to end their season, and it's how they ended the season, and it's how they're going to kick off district play this year. And like you said, it's a little different. You've got the mentor and the former coach who is going to be playing host to a former player, and so that brings a little bit of a different dynamic to it as well. They're already rivals to begin with, and they're friends too, and they're going to enjoy this game between one another, and I think we're in for two very good ball games.
White County boys have struggled. DeKalb County with Connor Close and crew going to try to jump out to a good start for the district race, because of course you got one less team this year in the district, and they're anxious to get off to a great start, and especially being at home, you've got a whole serve there if you're going to finish at the top of the district.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna again, any mistake in this district can be costly.
Right.
So you think of a small slip up. Oh, I can, if I mess up here and I give away this game, or I give away this game, I can make it up. I don't know that you can make it up in this district, so you can't slip up at all.
Let's look at the times that's going to air as on Tuesday, January 9th at 7 p.m., Wednesday, January 10th at 1 p.m., and then on Thursday and Saturday, 11th and 13th at 7 p.m. will be the White County at DeKalb County game. Now let's turn our focus on our next Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week. Watertown traveling over to Bill Landreth Gymnasium in Carthage to play Smith County. Of course, Watertown boys, the last time they were in that gym and played the Owls, pulled the big upset in the opening round, the semifinals. Number 4 seed beat number 1 seed. So I'm sure Trey Sanders will remind his team of that. And that's grown in quite a rivalry in a very short time, Justin.
Yeah, they managed to stay in the same district during the realignment, so they're getting to play each other, so they're familiar with one another. It's not that far of travel between each of these schools, and they're in the same district in other sports as well.
Right.
And so there's a lot of crossover. These athletes play each other in basketball, but they're playing each other in baseball and softball and in other sports as well. So a lot of competition going on over there, but they know each other very, very, very well.
Of course, two improved girls teams will play, and wanting to get a win to get off on the right foot will be the Lady Owls and the Purple of Watertown. Let's go ahead and look at the air times that we'll have. That'll be on Friday, January 12th at 7 p.m., Saturday, January 13th at 1, on Sunday and Monday at 7 p.m. right here on DTC 3. Let's go ahead and look at the upcoming games. We've got Cannon County traveling to Murfreesboro Central Magnet. Hopefully the refs will have the right locale and time down.
This game does start at 6 p.m. instead of 2 p.m., unlike their previous one that is supposed to be rescheduled. I actually reached out to Coach Nave and hadn't got a response on if they got that one rescheduled, but hopefully, yes, they will have officials and be able to have the games this time.
Then they go down to Grundy County, and at least what it looks like so far, that could be a battle for that 9AA supremacy on girls and boys when Grundy County and Cannon County play.
Yeah, when that game, whoever wins that game will be at the top of the district, at least for the time being. But getting out there and getting that early lead, and they'll play each other again, and so you can make up that game potentially and come back and get revenge. But in this first one, in this inaugural one, you don't want to be the one who's having to look up at the other one. DeKalb
County got some games coming up. Of course, their district is starting just like everybody else's. Of course, we've got that White County at DeKalb County game. Josh Agee and I will have the call for you from Smithville, as that'll be our Huff and Puff Trucking game of the week. And then Cumberland County coming to DeKalb County with 2 games at home. I think it's critical if you're going to try to finish in the top and get as high a seed as possible, that you try to grab all the wins you can at home.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They're getting 2 of their district games out of their 10 right off the bat, right at home. And, you can, again, set the stage, set it early, use that home court advantage, use that home crowd, use the Tiger Den, and hopefully carry you to victory. And so that could be advantageous to them to be able to use that home court advantage early.
Look at the Gordonsville games. Of course, Gordonsville girls played against Clark Range. Gordonsville boys do not. We'll have them. They'll be making it up. I think that's on the 13th at 6 o'clock. They go to Red Boiling, then Trousdale County in a non-district game goes to Gordonsville on Saturday night, and then Pickett County to Gordonsville, which, Gordonsville boys are hoping to get into that upper echelon of the district with Joseph Aminette's team coming to town. That could be a tough task. But if Gordonsville is at full strength and everybody's healthy, I look for that to be a great ball game.
Yeah, there's certain games that you look at on the calendar and you see, okay, we're going to get a real test here, and we're going to really see where we stand, where is our place among the elite in this district, and who really owns this district. And, I know Jacob Aminette just got his 1,000th point for Pickett County, and I know, they're a well-rounded team as well. They've got multiple guys averaging double figures coming into that. Gordonsville hopefully will be healthy. I know that's that's their thing. They've had some injuries, but hopefully now the district plays rolled around, they'll get recoveries taking place, and they'll have a full strength lineup to go for them.
Let's look at the Smith County games. Of course, they've got Monterey at Bill Rander Gym, and then Watertown in that Huff and Puff Trucking game of the week. I think when you look at Trey Sanders, when you look at Matt Ferrell, they're saying, hey, if we are going to try to get a regular season championship, we need 2 wins at home.
Again, just like with DeKalb County, you have to take advantage when you are on your home court. You can't let those games slip away from you. There's a reason, even in the postseason, which we, I know last year, Smith County hosted the district tournament. Sometimes it doesn't always work out for you, but for the most part, that is something that is, not an attribute of players on the court, but it is something that affects the game, so you've got to use it.
Let's go ahead and look at Watertown. Of course, they go to York, making a long trip up to Jamestown, a very, very tough place to play. And then they've got Smith County.
Listen, I'm excited. These are all district games. We're going district, and now, not saying the games before this weren't important, but the magnitude and knowing that these games mean more, and these players understand that it means more, and ultimately, if you want to make a run to Murfreesboro, you want to play in the Glass House, it's starting with these games.
Definitely is. We want to thank Nick Notes. For Justin Mauldin, I'm Terry Collins. Good night on the Box Score.